Hello, this is Bob Gray Sr. Welcome to Ministry Moments. Every Friday, 3 o'clock Central Time, we'll come live with Ministry Moments broadcast. And I hope you'll join me every week. Hope to just be very practical and very, Brother Ruloff said to me one time, he said, "You know what the people need, Brother Gray?" I said, "What?" "They need porcupine preaching." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "That's where the people get the point." I've laughed about that, but it's always good to make sure that this is applicable and helpful. And so today I want to talk to you about the pastor and his children. So I hope you get a pen out and take some notes. The pastor and his children. As of this broadcast, I'm 75 years of age, and Mrs. Gray and I have been married 55, going on 56 years. And our youngest, I think I'm right about this, going to turn 50. That's amazing. And to have a baby is going to be 50. Both boys are pastoring churches, and we're very proud of them, proud of all of our kids and grandkids and great grandkids. And we just had a new addition. Megan has just, our granddaughter, given birth to a little girl. And so that's our 10th great grandchild. So we're excited about that. And hopefully there'll be more to come. We want our quiver full and full and full. So let me talk to you very practically about the pastor and his children, okay, if I may. Now, all of our kids are soul winners. They're not nobody's perfect. The kids aren't perfect. I'm not perfect. Well, close to it. But they love the Lord. They go to church. They're soul winners, and they give the gospel out regularly, and that I'm proud of. And somebody said, "Do you agree with everything your children do?" No, and they don't agree with everything that I do. Welcome to the real world. So let me give you some thoughts here on the pastor and children. Number one, do not pressure the boys to be preachers. Do not pressure the boys to be preachers. Don't do that. What you want to do is to teach them and train them to be good husbands, good fathers, but don't put the pressure on them to be a preacher. Let God take care of that. God will take care of that. I've told them I'll be tickled if you'll just love your wife and love your children and do what's right by them according to the word of God. That'll just please me. And I, again, did not pressure them to be preachers. They both sons are preachers and pastors of local churches. And so that I'm tickled about. But I never, ever, Mrs. Gray and I never pressured them to be preachers. And others would do that. "Oh, you're going to be a preacher like your dad." And I always cringed when I heard that. Number two, family devotions. Understand what family devotions are about. Family devotions are a means to an end. Please let me say it again. Family devotions are not the end. Family devotions are a means to an end. You say, "Well, what's the end?" It's a one-on-one relationship with the Lord. I mean, you and the Lord. Um, for example, we would tell our kids. I remember one time Scott went into a room. We'd have our kids spend time alone, just thumbing through the pages of the Bible if they couldn't even read. And Scott came back one day, "Dad, there's no pictures in here." I said, "Well, you just go back and just spend your 15 minutes." And so we wanted them to spend time alone with God. And so I said, number one, do not pressure the boys to be preachers. You let God take care of that. You teach them to be good, clean, moral, righteous men, men that love their wives and love their children and take care of them. That's the most important thing. Now, if God chooses to call them in the ministry and put them in the ministry, that's fine. Number two, family devotions. Family devotions are not an end, they are a means to an end. I would want them to get alone with God, spend time, and then we would get together and do a little role play or some Bible story and so on. When I was out of town, the oldest, Bob, took care of that. But I'm just simply saying it's very, very important that do not pressure these boys to be preachers. Number two, understand what family devotions are. It's a means to an end, a walk with God. That's it, a walk with God, a personal walk with God. I spend 2 hours every morning with the Lord, 2 hours every morning. That's very important, that walk with God. Number three, keep their hearts tender. Keep their hearts tender. So how do you do that? Soul winning does that. Helping take groceries to families that are in need, helping people pay their rent, put food on the table, help dad to find a job. My soul winning's good. Soul winning's good because I say this. My wife doesn't like when I say this, but she's in the other room, so I'm okay. I think every kid ought to get a good cussing once a week. I don't think it's the teacher that ought to do it. I don't think it's the preacher that ought to do it. But I think that they ought to go soul winning and see the result of the devil's payoff. And many a time our girls have come to me and said, Dad, oh, you got to go help this family. They're in bad shape. That came from them going out soul winning and so on. And we've gone, fed people. Time Karen and I took some groceries to a lady and we got her in an apartment with her and her two kids. They were sleeping in the car and got the groceries. This lady that we helped, she's taking stuff out of the bags and she put her hands on her hips and said, well, I'll declare, not a cigarette, one. Yeah, I thought that was funny. No, we're not buying cancer for you. So do not pressure the boys to be preachers. Family devotions, get the picture. This is a means to an end of a private walk with God. If they don't have that walk with God, they're not going to grow in the Lord. Number three, keep their hearts tender. Soul winning will do that. Let them see the devil's payoff. Next, spend time with each child. Spend time with each child. My wife was an expert at this, of knowing each child, and I mean knowing them, and spending time with them. And somebody said, "How'd you get your kid to turn out right?" And it's a matter of getting your kids to do right. He's not worried about them turning out right, worried about them doing right. The turning out is their responsibility. I'm not going to take credit for anything for our children done for God. They chose that, and they'll be rewarded for that. We just made sure. I've said this about the mother. The mother's got to be a combination of Mussolini and Hitler. It's rough. I was gone all the time. My wife is the one that nurtured our kids and helped our kids stay on the straight and narrow. And we were in agreement on things, and she fulfilled it when I was gone. And so spend time with each child. We would take our kids to hear Dr. Rice and Dr. Howes, Dr. Robertson. Oh, they loved it. We'd pack up and go. And I'd also take them out of school and take them to a preaching meeting one at a time, and spend time with each child. So number one, do not pressure the boys to be preachers. You let God take care of that. Don't you? You teach and train them to be a good husband, a good father, a good provider. Number two, family devotions. Don't misunderstand what those are. It's a means to an end. An end of what? A private walk with God. That personal walk with God is vital. It's crucial. And so don't forget the purpose of family devotions. Number three, keep their hearts tender. Number four, spend time with each child. Get to know each child. Was it Wesley's? Susanna Wesley, that she had 11 kids and she spent an hour with each one a week. Amazing, isn't it? All right. Next, go soul winning with each child. Take each child. Let them see dad win somebody to Christ. Let them see that this is what this is really all about, keeping people out of hell. All right. Next, ask them. This is a good point here. Ask them questions about the ministry. Ask them questions about them. I remember one time Bob and I were having lunch with Johnny Pope. Johnny preached for me, and we were having lunch. And Bob started asking me questions about this and that and the other about the ministry, and I'd answer him. And Johnny threw the fork down. He said, "Come on now." He's acting like he's a staff member down there. And but I wanted Bob to do that. I wanted Scott to do that, to ask questions about the ministry. I wanted the girls to ask questions about the ministry, because then I was able to figure out what was on their mind and be able to answer. And don't forget about Daniel. Dissolver of doubts was what Daniel was there for. And that's what men of God are for, to dissolve doubts, not create doubts. So number one, do not pressure the boys to be preachers. Number two, family devotions. It is a means to an end of a walk with God. Number three, keep their hearts tender. Number four, spend time with each child. Number five, go souling with each child. Number six, ask them questions about the ministry. Son, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? What do you think Brother House meant by da 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 da, whatever the statement was in the conference that we were at? Number seven, guide them to the right decision. Guide them to the right decision. They'll ask questions about the ministry. You guide them and lead them to the right decision because they're the child, you're the adult. And so God's given you experiences and God's given you answers. And so you want to guide them to the right decision. And it's a journey to truth. All right, next, be the same at church as you are at home. I cut up in the pulpit, cut up an awful lot. I'm probably too much. I don't know. But it just, our family, even to this day, it's sacrilegious, really. Somebody asked me one time, said, what do you and your family do for fun in one of the souling clinics? And I said, we make fun of people. And it's hilarious when our family gets together and these kids get together. I mean, it's just hilarious and a lot of fun. Now, number 9, have whipping offenses. Have and know what the whipping offenses are. Have and know what the whipping offenses are. You don't want to whip a kid for slamming a door. If you lie, you're going to get it. If you cheat, you're going to get it. If you steal, you're going to get it. But not because you don't know how long your arms are and you knock a vase off. It's very important that make it very clear. Look, you've crossed the line. Now, in this is to lead my last point, number 10. This is about God's way, not Dad's way. This is about God's way, not Dad's way. Every time a child was disciplined, it was understood. It was understood. God is the one that's upset. God's the one that's upset. And I've got to make sure you understand that there's consequences when you do wrong. You lie, there are consequences. You steal, there are consequences. That's life. That's life. That's life. Scott said to me one day, Dad, that principal doesn't like me. I said, son, I pay him to not like you. I don't want you to go through school because you're an apple polisher. I want you to know your geography and your physics and your science and math and so on. I want you to know that. I want you to earn the right to go to the next grade level. So it's very important. It's not Dad's way, it's God's way. The reason I'm disciplining you because God is not happy with something like this. Eventually they're going to leave home. And they need to understand it's not Dad's way, it's God's way. And then that way they can train their children, teach their children obedience to God, and disobedience has consequences, and they need to understand that. I don't know, you beat the kid half to death, but good grief, he's got a padded bottom back there for a reason, and that's what you ought to use. Discipline is creating disciples. Let me say it again. Discipline creates disciples. So if you want them to be a disciple of Christ, they've got to be a disciplined person. So discipline leads them to be a disciple. All right, let's review quickly. It's going to be a test now, so you better pay attention. The pastor and his children. Number 1, do not pressure boys to be preachers. Don't do that. Teach them to be good men, good husbands, good fathers, and good providers. Next, number 2, family devotions. It's a means to an end. The end is I was more concerned about their walk with God, private walk with God, than I was the family devotions. Number 3, keep their hearts tender. Number 4, spend time with each child. Number 5, go soul winning with each child. Number 6, ask them questions about the ministry. Find out if they're paying attention to what's going on and find out the reason why things are done. Number 7, guide them to the right decision. Number 8, be the same at church as you are at home. Number 9, have whipping offenses, serious offenses, not for silly things that kids do, but if you lie, if you steal, if you cheat, you got it? All right. And then number 10, this is about God's way, not Dad's way. Well, that's a very important statement. This is about God's way, not Dad's way. Don't let the whipping, the punishment, the consequences boil down to Dad's mad at me. No, Dad's upset with you, But God is the one who sets the rules and the standards down for holy living. And that's when we've got to make, because after you're gone, you're grown, you're gone, you're married, you're out of here. After you're gone, well, you're going to have to answer to God, not to me. Honor and obey. You're at home, your child at home. That's what you're supposed to do. When you leave home, it's no longer obey dad, but it is honor dad. And if you don't honor, put your weight down on the good, your life will not be lengthy. Your influence will not be lengthy. So hope this helped you. The pastor and his children. We have 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and now 10 great grandchildren. And so hopefully they'll all keep on going. Now the whole bunch may get drunk next weekend, but we'll hope to keep on going and serving God, winning souls. God bless you. Thank you for being a part of Ministry Moments. And Saturday Soul Winning, if you make sure you're out there telling people how to be saved, give the gospel out. And God bless you. We'll see you next week at 3 o'clock Central Time for the Ministry Moments broadcast.